What if I told you that something you do every single day, something completely normal, something you've never thought twice about, is slowly breaking your dog's trust in you? Not in an obvious way, not in a way your dog will bark about or growl about, but deep inside, in a part of your dog's psychology that most people never even think about, something is shifting, and by the time most owners realize it, the damage has already been done. Stay with me, because what you're about to find out changed the way thousands of dog owners interact with their pets. And once you hear this, you will never look at your dog the same way again. Let's start with a story. A woman named Sarah had a golden retriever named Max. Max was the perfect dog, friendly, calm, well-trained. Everyone loved Max. But one day, Sarah noticed something strange. Max started hesitating at the door before coming inside. He would pause, look at her, and then slowly walk in with his tail slightly down. She thought, nothing of it. Maybe he was tired. Maybe it was the weather. But then it kept happening. Every single day, that same hesitation, that same lowered tail, that same look in his eyes that she couldn't quite explain. She took Max to the vet. Nothing wrong physically. She hired a trainer. The trainer watched Max for 20 minutes and then said something that stopped Sarah cold. He said, "Your dog is confused. Not about commands, not about rules. He's confused about you. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today. Because here is the truth that most dog owners are never told. Dogs don't just respond to what you do. They respond to the energy, the emotional signals, the unconscious behavior you project every single moment you are around them. And there is one specific thing, one common human behavior that sends your dog's nervous system into a quiet, constant state of stress. And most owners do it multiple times a day without ever knowing. But I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. Because first, you need to understand how your dog actually sees you. Because without that foundation, the mistake I'm about to reveal won't fully make sense. Dogs evolved alongside humans for over 15,000 years. Let that number sink in. 15,000 years of watching us, reading us, learning us. In that time, your dog has developed an ability that is honestly almost supernatural. They can read micro-expressions on your face. They can sense changes in your body odor when your hormones shift. They can detect your heartbeat from across a room. And most importantly, they are constantly, obsessively, trying to figure out one thing. One single question that runs through your dog's mind like a background program on a computer, always running, always processing. That question is this: are you a stable, trustworthy leader right now, or are you not? That's it. That is the lens through which your dog sees every single interaction with you. Not, do you love me? Not, are you happy today? The question is, are you stable? Are you someone I can count on? Are you predictable? And here is where things start to get interesting. Because stability, in dog psychology, doesn't mean what most people think it means. Most owners think a stable leader is someone who is calm, patient, and kind. And those things matter. But that is not the full picture. A stable leader, in your dog's eyes, is someone whose emotional state makes sense. Someone whose behavior is consistent with the situation. Someone who doesn't confuse internal emotions with external signals. And this is where the mistake comes in. Think about your average morning. You wake up. Maybe you slept badly. Maybe you're stressed about work. Maybe you had an argument the night. Before that, you're still carrying. You walk into the kitchen. Your dog is there, wagging, excited, full of pure morning energy. And you do what almost every dog owner does. You project. You take all that stress, all that quiet anxiety, all that unexpressed emotional noise from your own life, and it leaks out of you through your posture, through your voice, through the way you move. Your dog doesn't know you're stressed about work. Your dog doesn't know about the meeting, the bills, the argument. Your dog only knows one thing. The person I depend on is sending out signals that don't match this situation. There is no threat here. There is no danger here. But the energy coming from this person says otherwise. And that gap, that mismatch between situation and energy, is exactly what puts a dog into a low-level state of chronic stress. But that's not the real reason this is so damaging. Here is what happens inside your dog's brain when this confusion occurs repeatedly. The nervous system of a dog is wired for something called social referencing. This means that your dog constantly looks to you to understand how to feel about the world. If you're calm, the world is safe. If you're tense, something must be wrong. This isn't a choice your dog makes. It's hardwired. It's biology. It goes all the way back to the wolf pack, where reading the emotional state of the leader was a matter of survival. So when you walk around your house carrying unprocessed human stress, your dog's nervous system doesn't say, "Oh, that's just a human being emotional." Your dog's nervous system says, "My leader is disturbed, I need to be alert. Something might be coming." And so your dog waits and watches and stays in that low-level state of arousal, ready for a threat that never comes. Day after day, week after week, month after month, and this is where things get dangerous. Because chronic low-level stress in dogs doesn't look like a dog going crazy. It doesn't look like barking or biting or destruction. It looks like subtle, behavioral shifts that most owners completely miss. It looks like a dog that hesitates at the door, a dog that is slightly more clingy than usual, a dog that startles more easily, a dog that gets anxious when left alone even for short periods, a dog that loses some of that spark, that lightness, that easy joy they used to have. Most owners never connect this to their own behavior. They think something is wrong with the dog. They try training. They try new toys. They try different food. They never once consider that the problem might be something they themselves are doing every single day. Now, I want to be clear about something. This is not about blame. This is not about saying you're a bad owner. Every person carries emotional weight. Life is hard. Stress is real. The point is not to judge you for feeling things. The point is to show you how those feelings, when unmanaged in the presence of your dog, create a communication problem that your dog has absolutely no way to resolve on their own. Think about it from your dog's perspective. They wake up every morning with one job: to be in sync with you, to understand you, to follow your lead. When your emotional signals are unpredictable, inconsistent, or unrelated to what's actually happening in the environment, your dog can't do that job. And a dog that can't do that job is a dog that feels fundamentally unsafe. But here's what most dog owners don't realize. The problem isn't just the stress itself. The problem is the inconsistency. Because here's the other side of this. Those same owners who carry stress into their dog's world also often overcorrect. They feel guilty. They feel bad about being tense or distracted. So they swing the other way. They become extremely loving, extremely soft, overly apologetic in their energy. They pick the dog up constantly. They speak in high, anxious voices. They smother the dog with affection in a way that feels loving to the human, but actually signals something very different to the dog. In dog psychology, excessive nervous affection communicates the same thing as anxious tension. It communicates instability. It says, "I am not okay, and I need you to comfort me." And when a dog receives that signal from their owner, from the person who is supposed to be the anchor, the secure base, it creates a kind of role reversal that is deeply uncomfortable for the dog. Because dogs are not built to be our emotional support in the human sense. They can comfort us, yes. But when an owner begins to depend on the dog emotionally in an unconscious, unregulated way, the dog feels the weight of that, and it changes how they carry themselves in the world. This is why you sometimes see dogs that are intensely attached to one person, but also highly anxious. Always under the owner's feet. Can't relax when the owner is upset. Constantly checking in. Constantly watching the door. People look at that dog and say, "Oh, they love you so much." But a good dog behaviorist looks at that dog and sees an animal living in low-grade anxiety because their entire sense of safety is tied to the emotional state of one unpredictable human. So what is the actual mistake? What is the specific behavior you need to stop doing in front of your dog? It is this: bringing unregulated emotional energy into your dog's space without any awareness of what it signals to them. It's not about never being sad or stressed. It's about the unconscious leaking of that energy in ways that confuse and destabilize your dog. It is the tension in your shoulders when you sit on the couch and your dog leans against you. It is the way your breath changes when you check your phone and read something upsetting. It is the way your voice shifts when you're pretending to be fine, but you're not. Your dog reads all of it, every single bit of it, and they take it seriously. Far more seriously than you realize. Now here is the part that actually changes everything. Because once you understand this, the solution becomes very natural, very human, very doable. The first thing is awareness, just awareness. Before you walk into a room where your dog is, take 3 seconds. That is all. 3 seconds to check in with yourself. What am I carrying right now? What am I walking in with? Not to fix it, not to perform happiness, just to know, just to be conscious of it. Because the moment you become aware of the energy you're carrying, you automatically begin to regulate it. This is basic nervous system psychology. Consciousness is the beginning of regulation. The second thing is grounding. When you sit with your dog and you're stressed, don't fake it. Don't perform calm. Instead, use your dog as a reason to actually find calm. Slow your breathing deliberately. Feel the weight of your body in the chair. Put your hand on your dog's back and breathe. Not because your dog needs your love in that moment, but because your dog needs your groundedness. And the beautiful thing is that the act of grounding yourself through physical contact with your dog genuinely works. It works for both of you, but the energy flows from you to them, not the other way around. The third thing, and this is the one that surprises people the most, is to stop apologizing to your dog with your energy. Stop the anxious over-affection that comes from guilt. Your dog doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present. Calm presence is the greatest gift you can give your dog. Not treats, not toys, not expensive food. Calm, steady, present, and now I want to tell you the final piece of this. The thing that, when Sarah the Golden Retriever owner finally understood it, made her sit down and cry. Not from sadness, from realization. When the trainer told her that Max was confused about her, she pushed back. She said, "But I love Max so much. I've never hurt him. I've given him everything." And the trainer looked at her and said something very quiet. He said, "Love is not enough if it isn't stable. Your dog doesn't experience love as a feeling. He experiences it as your presence, and your presence needs to be a place he can rest, a place your dog can rest." Read that again slowly. Your presence needs to be a place your dog can rest, because that is what your dog is looking for every single day. Not a perfect owner, not someone who is always happy, just someone who is, in the deepest sense, okay, grounded, there, safe to be near. And when you become that for your dog, something changes. You will see it within days. You will see it in the way your dog moves around you, more loose, more easy, more themselves. You will see it in the way they sleep, deeply and without startling. You will see it in the way they greet you, with genuine joy rather than anxious desperation.